For this month's block, the Filigree block, we are going to be working with some yarn overs, some slip knits, and some knit two togethers. Hopefully you have your pattern handy so that you can see what to expect. On the first row, we're going to cast on 31 with color number 504 Ice Gem. But remember that you don't have to use that color. You can use any color that you want. And I am actually going to use Milk for this square this month. Then you're going to follow the chart and you're going to repeat the stitches between the red lines 2 times, or repeat the stars in the written work 2 times. You're going to repeat the entire chart 3 times before you bind off. And remember, you may need to knit a few more or a few less rows in order to make certain that your square is 6 inches. So make certain that no matter what you do or how many rows you knit, that you are knitting until your square is 6 inches, because your personal gauge could be just a little different than mine. So now that we have looked at what yarn we're going to use, we've explored the pattern, we've looked at our chart, it's time to go ahead and cast on those 31 stitches. And remember that you'll have some edge stitches here. So you're going to have a slip stitch on this side, and then you'll purl 2, you'll have a slip knit, you'll knit 3, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3, knit 2 together, have a purl, and then you would place your marker. And so you'll have 2 stitches out on the edge. So you'll actually have 3 total stitches that are going to be considered your edge stitches in this piece. So as you are working your block, just remember that if you get to the end and you have 2 stitches left on a right side row, you're actually supposed to. So I'm going to go ahead and cast on my 31 stitches so that I can start this block, and then I'm going to show you how to do those yarn overs, those slips, knits, and the knit 2 togethers in order to complete this pattern. So I cast on my 31 stitches and I went ahead and worked 2 rows so that I had a little better base in order to show you how to do those slip knits, yarn overs, and knit 2 togethers. So let's go ahead and look at our pattern for row 3. So on row 3, you're going to slip that first stitch, and I always slip the right side stitches knitwise. And then I'm going to purl 2 stitches, purl 1, purl 2, and now I'm going to perform that slip knit. So if we go to our chart, because remember we have that handy dandy chart, and we see it says slip knit, we can go back to our key and we can look at our key for a slip knit, which is right here. And it's going to say slip, knit the slipped stitches together. So to do that, you slip the first stitch knitwise, you slip the second stitch knitwise, you put the 2 stitches back on your needle, and what that's done is orient them incorrectly. So the back leg is forward and the front leg is back. See how those stitches don't look the same now? And then you're going to go ahead and knit them together just like that. And what that does is it causes our decrease to slant to the left. So it's slanting to the left. So now that we have performed that slip knit, we're going to knit 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to yarn over. And I want you to see how simple and easy a yarn over is. That's a yarn over. All I did was take my needle and scoop up that yarn. And it will make an extra stitch in between those 2 stitches, but we accounted for that by decreasing a stitch over here. And that is always the key to lace. You increase in one area and you decrease in another. Sometimes they are next to each other and sometimes they are far apart. So we've gone ahead and yarn over. Then we knit 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to yarn over again. So now that we've made that yarn over, we're going to have to do something to get rid of that extra stitch we've made so that we have the same stitch count at the end of this row. So we're going to yarn over, which we've done, and then we're going to knit 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to knit 2 together. So you can see we're going to knit 2 together on our chart right here. And in order to knit 2 together, you're going to count 1, 2. Going to take the tip of your needle and insert it in the front and out the back of 2 stitches at the same time. So can you see how I've gone through those 2 stitches? Just like that. 2 stitches at the same time. We're going to go ahead and then just knit both of those stitches together. Just like that. And that is a knit 2 together. And then we're going to purl 1 stitch and then go back to the beginning of our chart repeat, because remember we were going to repeat the stitches between the red lines or the stars 2 times. So let's go back to the beginning of row 3 again right here at this chart, and we're going to do purl 2, purl 1, 2, and then we're going to do that slip slip knit again. So let's do that one more time. So you're going to take your needle and insert it knitwise as if to knit and slip the stitch over. Insert it again as if to knit and slip the stitch over. And then go ahead and knit both of those stitches together. And you'll see that this decrease slants to the right. And you'll see that this decrease slants to the left, while the knit 2 together slants to the right. Now we're going to knit 2, 1, 2, and do that yarn over. Knit 1, 2, 3, do that yarn over. Knit 1, 2, and now we've come to that knit 2 together again. So we're going to go ahead and insert that needle tip on the second stitch through both stitches. Scoop that stitch up and bring it through, and you can clearly see that it's come through 2 stitches now. And then we're going to just purl 2 and knit 1. Purl 2 and knit 1. And that is how we do those yarn overs, our knit 2 togethers, and our slip slip knits. So let's look at the back side of this one. We are going to slip 1, we're going to knit 2, we're going to purl 11, and then we're going to knit 2. We'll go back and knit 1, purl 11, knit 2, and we'll end with a purl 1. So now that I have worked the first repeat of the chart and I've shown you how to do those yarn overs, slip slip knits, and knit 2 togethers, this should be approximately what your block is starting to look like. So you can clearly see the V's of those yarn overs, and you can see the columns where the decreases have lined up, and you see those little areas where we've got the purl stitch blocks. So this is what your filigree block should start to look like. And now that we've had fun with our filigree and we have advanced our skills a little bit further with that yarn over, slip, slip, knit, and knit two together, let's go ahead and look at the Cloverleaf Eyelet.